Hey guys, Tom here from Metalloud. Welcome to part 7 of the Say Anything review series. This time we're not taking a look at any particular album. We're looking at their several EPs that came out between Baseball and Is a Real Boy, as well as a few miscellaneous songs that came out during that period and demos and things like that. So first of all, during that time period, one of the EPs that we got was called Menorah Majora, and it's probably the more well-known of the EPs that they released. There were a few, two major ones, including Menorah Majora, and Menorah Majora is kind of the one that really caught on. It's where their popularity started to increase a lot, especially with the song A Walk Through Hell, which is probably one of the best written love songs of that time. It's a little bit sappy, but it's very, very vivid in its imagery, and it's just an example of what Max Bemis can do. And it really kind of gives an insight into his kind of fuck the world mentality at that point. He really didn't have a great view of the outside world, and this is his kind of exclamation to a girl that he loves or likes at that time. And it really is a well done love song. I enjoy it. It's edgy enough where it's something that anybody can get into without feeling too sappy, without feeling like it's a little bit too cheesy. And it's a situation that I think a lot of people can kind of relate to in that way. So I think it was a very well done song, and it's a song that really kind of shot them into popularity more so than Colorblind off of Baseball. Walk Through Hell was the one that I remember at least being shared amongst those media sites a lot, and one that people actually knew and kind of talked about before Is a Real Boy really kind of catapulted them into the mainstream success that they had. The other songs off of that EP do very decent job. They're kind of hit or miss. The song You Help Them is a very, very aggressive song. I like it's probably one of my favorite songs, especially of that era. It's a lot about kind of for giving up on helping somebody in a way, somebody you kind of realize is just doing it to themselves, and no matter how hard you try to get them to stop, they're just on their own destructive path, and you're just kind of basically tired of it, and you're giving up on them, and fuck them. And it's got a nice pulsing bass line to that throughout the whole song that kind of drives it forward. And the vocal work from Max Bemis is a little bit more on the harsher side than we heard from him in the past and on other songs, almost to the point of screaming at some points on this track. It's a bit different than anything we hear from him even going forward, but it's still a nice song to listen to. It's enjoyable. It's something if you're looking for a more aggressive side of of Say Anything, it's definitely had that more tone. One of the issues with Menorah Majora, as well as their other EP they released around this time called Junior Varsity, is that it's very, very rough in its recording. The fidelity of it's very rough, but not only that, it's also doesn't really feel like they worked with anybody on this who said, maybe you should layer these vocals this way. The end of the song, You Help Them, really kind of falls apart a bit. It's just awkward screaming over screaming, and it doesn't really do as well as I think they imagined it to do when they recorded it. And I think that's something that having somebody there to help them make this album definitely would have improved. The other songs on that EP, like I Want to Know Your Plans, that song was actually reused and re-recorded for Is a Real Boy. There's a song called By Tonight. That song's actually a pretty fun song about getting together with somebody finally. There's a few other songs on there that are okay, but they're mostly forgettable, to be honest. I mean, if you're really into Say Anything, I mean, you're going to like them, but overall they're kind of a bit forgettable. Junior Varsity is mostly just rehashes from Baseball, and it still has that issue, and they feel like they received a upgrade in the recording quality, but the songs themselves I don't feel work as well. They feel a bit rougher than when they recorded on Baseball, but the fidelity is a tad bit up on this one, but still nothing really good. It's still very, very, very rough recordings on here. It really kind of shows in the songs that they chose for Junior Varsity really aren't fantastic songs to begin with. I didn't particularly like them that much. Manhattan is okay. The Last Great Punk Rock song really just feels like such a cheesy song, and I didn't really enjoy it when it was on baseball, and I don't really enjoy it on here either. That said, there are some other tracks on here that are were released around the same time as a Real Boy that I do actually really like. That are some of my favorite Say Anything tracks. The song "We Will Erase All Life on Earth" is a fantastic song about when you're so in love with somebody that you'll just get rid of. You're telling them, "Hey, we're going to get rid of everybody else, so it's just you and me." And it's a nice, again, aggressive love song in a lot of ways. It's something I like. "You Don't See Me Right" is another song. Kind of starts off very slow with this tapping drum sound, and then it just bursts into the song, and I really like that. Speaking of with "Erase All Life on Earth," that's another song that kind of, I think, is a perfect amalgamation of everything that made Is a Real Boy musically what it was. It starts off with just all the instruments going at once, and then settles into a nice strumming guitar part, and then you have Max Bemis in there, and it really, really works well. This song is probably one of my favorite songs that they've done. Now, they did in 2013 re-release Baseball, Minora Majora, and Junior Varsity, as well as a lot of other rare tracks, part of a compilation. And the thing that's nice is that a lot of these tracks are hard to come by, or at least come by recordings that are decent enough to listen to and don't sound like they were ripped from a radio. But the problem with the compilation is, while they claimed it was remastered, none of the tracks sound like they were remastered. They sound like they still sound like the same as they were on Baseball. If you ever got a physical copy of that, they sound exactly the same. Doesn't seem like there was any kind of touch-up work to that, and it's a little bit disappointing because it would have been nice to go back and actually clean a lot of them up a bit. I think some of them have definite potential as being great songs. They were just a bit rough in the recording. That was probably the only thing that held them back in a lot of ways. They did re-record one song, and he added vocal work to a previous only instrumental track that I guess he had recorded and forgot about. But overall, it's just a bit disappointing as a compilation that there really is no... there's nothing that's really done to these songs other than just packaging them as one. And it's just a bit disappointing that they chose not to really do anything with it, because again, a lot of these are good songs. There's a song on the compilation called "Sappy" that I really, really like. It's a little bit whiny, but I enjoy it generally as a song, kind of, hoping somebody you were in love with that, isn't in love with you anymore, or somebody you broke up with or something, hoping they're doing the same as you are pretty much. And I like that song, but again, they didn't do anything to them. But during this time period, we get a lot of different areas. Like I said, songs like "You Help Them," where they really went off in a more aggressive direction, and then there are songs like "By Tonight," which are a much slower song, and so we get a lot of different directions from the band leading up to and even during Is a Real Boy. So overall, I mean, these are, if you're really into Say Anything, I would suggest checking these tracks out. If you're kind of into them, Minora Majora is a decent EP. I would suggest listening to that EP. If you're not that into Say Anything, or if you only like Is a Real Boy, anything like that, it's not really worth much checking out their history in this period of time, other than, I would say, the For Sale EP, which has the two of my favorite tracks, "Slumming It with Johnny" and "We'll Erase All Life on Earth." Those are that EP, which I think came out with Is a Real Boy, or slightly after it, or slightly before, sometime within that period of time. So it is kind of an Is a Real Boy EP. That one I would suggest checking out. But the others, not so much. They're okay. If you're, like I said, if you are a Say Anything fan, you'll probably like them. If not, or if you're just a casual fan, anything like that, you might not really, it might not appeal to you as much. Thank you for watching part 7 of the Say Anything review series. Look forward, I am actually going to be redoing the review of their latest album called I Don't Think It Is for part 8 of this review series, so be sure to look out for that next week. As always, if you like what you saw, hit that like button. If you have any words you want to express on this era of time, these EPs and these songs, go ahead and leave a comment down below, and make sure you subscribe to the channel to stay up to date.